Hello, everybody. Welcome to the LZ Sports Show Playoff Edition. How much do Jets fans love hearing those words after the end of anything that they're watching? Playoff Edition. All right. I am Mark Adam, WPG Sports Coordinator here at the WPG Sports Headquarters, a.k.a. my basement. And I'll be joined today by my general partner in crime, Mr. Keith McKnight, all the way from his home, living his life so well over there. And he went shrinky dick, but that's okay. We're just going to roll with it. It's all about that audio, baby. That audio. Also,
it is all about that audio.
You got that sick background behind you there, so whatever. It is what it is.
Thank you.
I don't know what's going on.
You know, all the things that we're privileged of getting when, we had our passes at, previous Jets games, for Can Sports 1. That's a topic for another day. But good morning, Mark. How are you? I'm good. Today is a big day. It is a playoff. I didn't want to say this on air because I told you this off air, but I woke up this morning super early and my energy has been out the door, and I wanted to keep this going. I thought I was going back to sleep this morning, and I said, let's keep it going. And I got a lot of stuff done, and I wanted to keep it's playoffs. This is where it all counts.
Well, yeah, exactly. And we have this energy in the city when I know we can't have the big whiteout parties that make the playoffs just another level here, but we that energy still exists in town. And so I'm really happy that the Jets have made the playoffs, and that not only that, but they upset the Oilers in their own rink. Game 1 goes to the Jets.
It is crazy. And let's just jump right into it. And last night when I saw that victory and I looked at the stats, I don't like to use the word compare a lot, but it's true. I had to compare that game to the 2000 National Basketball Association Finals, where the Philadelphia 76ers went into the Los Angeles Lakers home arena and beat them in Game 1. And they made a statement. They let them know that, hey, we're here. Regardless of the outcome of the end of the series, it was a strong Game 1, and I felt the Jets let the Oilers know yesterday. And look, I'm going to take all the heat. Yes, I said trade Scheifele out of town. That's fine. All right, that's a topic for another day. But the Jets showed up yesterday and showed the Edmonton Oilers that, it was so silent in there. Even the PA announcer didn't even play any any of these sound effects, any boos or anything. It was just silence. And I said, look at this. Yeah. Look at this.
It was pretty great. And yeah, I mean, we're going to get into all of that. We're going to talk favorite players from the game, some unexpected heroes. We're going to talk about the strategy employed, all of that kind of stuff. But first, I just want to point out that we do have this beautiful chat box you can fill up, as you can see here. Throw us your thoughts. We will be getting to those. I'm not ignoring the chat box at the moment. We're going to be getting to that. So hello to Carrie, James. I see Simon Neung in the chat now. Thank you all for being here. We will be back right after this word from our sponsor. See you in 30 seconds.
Make your house a better place to come home to with Aqua-Tech Pool, Spa, and Bath. We've been delivering complete customer satisfaction for over 40 years. Whether it's a fully completed backyard escape, a completely renovated bathroom, or a premium upgrade on outdoor furniture, Aqua-Tech is the only name you need to know. That's because if it's an Aqua-Tech job, it's an Aqua-Tech team working on it. No outsourcing, no subcontractors. We do it all. Visit our one-of-a-kind showroom today at 1065 Dougal Road. Aqua-Tech Pool, Spa, and Bath. We create better places to come home to.
And welcome back. Thank you to our sponsor, Aqua-Tech Pool, Spa, and Bath. We greatly appreciate them. I do want to point out, there's some chat already happening here. Helle has the highest save percentage in the playoffs so far. After one game, good job. I like it. I like it a lot.
That's all that counts. It's the average. That's what counts. It's the average.
Yeah. And James says, I think we all knew Helle was going to be unbeatable on his birthday, which is true. 28th playoff game in his career on his 28th birthday. That was a recipe for success. Gotta say, not having fans at the playoff game kind of sucks. Also true. I do want to point out Montreal. First of all, that Carolina game, that stadium was packed.
I can't believe you're talking about that, Mark.
Zero social distancing.
We spoke about this, and I don't mean to bring your family into this, okay, right now, but obviously I want to let the viewers know that I have a reputation of catching you on the phone when you're in the car with your family. And you said to the girls in the car one day, it just seems like the United States just has some different rules for COVID, my dear. And I said, man, it's true, because that arena was packed.
Jammed.
When I saw fans, even let alone when you're scaring me saying about how packed this game was, when I saw the fans at the Colorado game, I was like, whoa, 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 what is going on here?
Yeah, and did you know Montreal just got approval to have up to 2,500 fans in their stadium starting May 28th?
I saw that headline and I didn't look into the article because it resonated with me what you had said to the girls. It's like there's just like some different rules going on, and I don't know how they pulled that off because they're not an American market.
They really have shut down their COVID spread numbers in that province, and we in Manitoba just keep ignoring the rules, and the rules keep getting changed, and it's kind of a, I'm trying to use a word that doesn't have the F word somewhere in it, but a cluster kerfuffle, let's call it. So it's just been,
like we always say, and even I think I don't know if it was your dad as well. You said this, or I'm sorry, to bring this up. Your late grandfather. It's not my money, and it's like we're not doctors, so let's just keep going like what we're doing, following all the rules that we have.
So first on that point, James says Montreal Canadiens will ruin having fans in the arena. Maybe by winning the series in 4.
I can't say anything negative about them because it's your team, and I have to support them because it's your team.
I don't have to support them. That's the whole point of sports.
I have to.
That's the whole
I'm
point.
not gonna. My partner, no way. That's his team. I got to stand by them.
I appreciate it, but I also want to. Well, before we move on to the next thing, I just want to point out Kerry Bilkowski's amazing pun play on words that he did there in the chat. Aqua-Tech does great work, but last night the pool man was on fire. Gotta say, I love that.
Oh, you just ended the internet. Ended the internet.
And that's the end of our show, guys. Outro. No, okay.
Back it up. Go home.
Yeah. But
Jerry.
in all seriousness, let's have a quick look at the actual stats from last night's game. Here we go. Boom. So 4-1 win over the Oilers in Oiltown. I love it. Oh, it should be 22 shots. Good thing I can proofread. 22 shots is all it took to get 4 goals. I mean, 2 of those were empty netters, to be honest. Coming from that top line, they didn't start producing until Mike Smith took a break. So it was up to the depth scoring last night to get the job done, and they worked really hard on that. Here's okay, 60% in the faceoff circle for the Jets. Great, absolutely phenomenal. The power play situation was insane last night. 1 power play on the whole game, 1 penalty. Stastny gets his stick up, high sticking. That's it. Literally, that's it.
I can't. We have lucked out with him, For all the draft picks and the hype that everybody has gotten in this team, Paul Stastny, he is such a guy who is like, yeah, you know what? Like, forget about all the hype. Like, I'm just here to win and get this job done. Yeah. And he's an awesome guy, and he's got the hockey player look. And I'm so glad he's never got his teeth fixed. And I have a hockey card actually. I went to there was a pack of Jets card given out. I can't remember where I found it, where I got it, and he was in there, and I was like, oh my god, this is him with teeth. And I was like, dude, don't get your teeth fixed. I was like, this is awesome.
But the look at the hits, 68-50, absolutely insane. Just want to point out yes, I realize I typoed there. It says 2 shots for the Jets, but it was definitely 22. I'm telling you. But then James Robinson in the chat says 4 goals and 2 shots, sustainable. And yeah, thanks, James.
When you pointed out, when you literally brought it up that you're like, okay, this is 68-50 hits, I'll be very honest with you. I have played on basketball teams from junior high to maybe junior varsity that there were some scores like that. Let's just be very honest. And now here we are looking at a National Hockey League playoff game, with hits alone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look at this stat.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Very, very physical. But when we were talking last night in our group chat there, Zoner, who's not here today, but normally he joins us, he actually pointed out like very physical game, not dirty at all. It didn't get dirty.
No, there was no fights. And like, you look at this, and even just looking at these numbers, because numbers never lie.
It was wide open.
Look at this.
Wide
like,
open.
It was a wide open game, and both teams played a physical game. They played playoff hockey. Let's give it both 100%. Ways.
And we're gonna get into all of that. Just quickly look at the score sheet here. This actually has the proper number of shots listed. See, 22. I mean, it's still sustainable. If you're gonna score 4 goals on 22 shots, that's still a sustainable number, but not quite as good as 4 in 2. Let's go impossible. I love it. But Wheeler with a goal and an assist, Connor with a goal and an assist on each other's empty netters, which is kind of funny because that kind of looks like it overshadows Dominic Toninato. Okay, Dom Tomato. We're just going to go with Dom Tomato. Dom Tomato gets a goal on the night. What a nice tip that was. And it was so slick, nobody saw it. Like, it was just in and out, done.
Also, I don't mean to cut you off, and let me just get into it quickly. Our boy Kerry just said, the whole pool, he just ended the internet with the Pullman comment. Like, let's give him some credit for the Slack comment that he also said is like, oh, what about Tonato with the sauce?
Yeah.
Like, that's like, this guy here, Kerry. No disrespect. I'm sorry there. Comes in hot with that.
I loved it. So then we got Pullman getting one as well, leading the rush for some reason. There was a weird line change situation, and all of a sudden Pullman is our point guy headed towards the net, and then he gets the rebound on a Wheeler shot. So it was weird to see Pullman be the only guy charging the net, but it worked. So
he's playing UND hockey.
He absolutely is. Absolutely.
Because I remember seeing a highlight with him, and when he was in college, and I was like, oh my God, this is why the Jets drafted him, because he dominated the college game the way Dustin Byfuglien dominated when he played the NHL game.
Yeah. And buddy, it's fun to watch the way that this is all sort of playing out. We got these guys that are not our big scoring guys. I think that's Pullman's first playoff goal and Toninato's first for sure. And do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to watch these guys work and do their thing. And I really appreciate it. So Scheifele getting a couple of assists, and then there were other assists going on as well for the Jets, especially from the defensive side of the game. So not only did Scheifele get those 2, but Thompson got 2 as well. And then on the defensive side, Pionk and Stanley each getting an assist. So, I mean, what a great sort of thing.
Team effort.
Yeah, it was a complete team effort from the get, and I'm very happy. So let's all those stats out of the way. Let's get to the actual subject matter here. Who for you stood out? Who is the Jet that stood out? And then I'll read some stuff from the chat after.
I almost wish we would have talked about this before, because I have a feeling we might have ended up going with the same individual. But regardless, I'm putting it out there.
Yeah.
Logan Stanley.
Okay.
I couldn't believe, beyond the goal, like his confidence and his presence.
I'm just putting it up to the camera.
The way that he was playing. Oh, sorry, I missed that. What did you say?
Saying, I'm agreeing with you. Logan Stanley was the guy I wrote down because he was just.
Oh, I don't need. That's why I mean we need to talk about these things before, so that we don't like.
No.
Sound like, is this planned? Like, what is wrong with these two guys?
How much better is it
here?
that we both agree on this guy who's a bubble player being the best player of the game? How awesome is that? Go ahead, continue.
He has really, like, literally talk about draft and develop. Like, I know that there was a lot of times, like, the chances that he got, in, like, let it be in the preseason and training camp, people questioned his ability and his skating. And I don't want to name names here, but there was a certain individual that I had the privilege of working with, and he questioned Logan Stanley, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, and he almost like, he was like, I compare it like as a gremlin. Like, don't let that gremlin creep into my head, because don't let somebody else's doubt about this kid come into your head right now? Because Logan Stanley is a promising player, and I'm putting it out there right now. The Winnipeg Jets fans better be hoping that he's not exposed in the expansion draft with the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, absolutely. And
it's the last thing I'm going to say about that. It's so aggressive about Logan Stanley and his potential that I have a feeling that his agent is going to get involved to the point that, like, look, if you don't expose my player, like, he's going to put the Winnipeg Jets in a very tough situation to keep him or not. You know what I mean? Logan Stanley, for the headaches that the Winnipeg Jets went through with Dustin Byfuglien and that injury, they are really paying huge dividends right now with Logan Stanley.
Yeah. Yep. I wholeheartedly agree. I think, huge body, 8 hits. He got an assist on the game, 4 blocked shots. And by the way, 8 hits was the most of anyone. Kind of a cool fact and a little bit of an aside. There were only 2 Jets last night that did not register at least 1 hit, and only 1 guy who had 1 hit. Everyone else had 2 or more hits in the game. That's how physical the Jets were. That's the mandate that obviously Paul Maurice put on them. They recognize playoff hockey, da-da-da. But Stanley leading the team in hits, 8 hits, great puck movement, stood his ground on defense, was responsible. And he did all that. We're talking about how he was the best player of the game. He had the least amount of minutes on the ice of any of the defensemen.
So look at that. And when you crunch those numbers, like, numbers never lie. This young man is really taking the opportunities that he has to play for this team and this stage, right? Because the playoffs is a big stage. Like, I am so excited. Like, I woke up so early this morning. I don't wake up early for anything.
Well, here, okay. I'm going to go to the chat because some of these things are going to go off my screen over here. They're already off the chat screen on what you guys can see. But Kerry Bukowski saying Nate Thompson showed us why the Jets picked him up. Fantastic veteran play last night. Strong on the faceoff and great puck decisions. All true. Thank you, Kerry, for that comment. He also pointed out Puljujarvi was Edmonton's only offensive weapon last night. He was awesome last night. Puljujarvi was scary last night, and it was because he had to be.
He had to be. He did.
And Simon Leung says Pionk played great too. There's a reason why McDavid was pointless, which is a great point. James Robinson says Dom Tomato. Sorry everybody. Sorry if that was loud in your ears. I didn't mean to hit my mic stuff. But he said tips and absolute. Driving off the ice with a souped up Dodge Charger. Yeah.
Yes, like driving off the lot with it.
An absolute amazing tip from that shot from Stan. Big Stan, love it. Kerry says, last night the Jets chose violence. Hard for McDavid to score when he's crumpled against the boards. It's true. Pionk had him pinned and was roughing him up every chance. The Jets actually tweeted out a photo of Pionk all over McDavid, and McDavid looking all like frustrated, and the caption just said rent free. And I thought that was great. So
it's amazing. I've heard it in every professional sports league, let it be a coach, let it be a movie, whatever it may be. Offense sells the tickets, defense wins the championships. And when Pionk can contain the most, like, let's just put it there, like there's 3 out of, if there's 6 players on the ice that you want out of all the NHL superstars, Connor McDavid is one of those guys, right? And for him to be contained like that, like, I'm not even saying, like, oh my God, look at Neil Pionk, like, he contained him. No, like, don't look at how Neil Pionk, it's like, oh, look, where did this guy come from? No, just look at it like this guy shut down one of the best players in the game. And the Winnipeg Jets yesterday, they didn't even depend. You even use this with the Vancouver Canucks, that they depend on their goalie too much. And the Winnipeg Jets yesterday did not play a game where they depended on Connor Hellebuck at all.
That said, he played great hockey. Like, he was in the right position.
Not to take anything away from that. He held his own. And I agree with you wholeheartedly with that. It's just like, they didn't put a lot of pressure on him. You know what I mean? And good on the Jets.
I agree. And so as a subject, like, the team defense was absolutely solid. We saw all 3 zones covered, every single player taking part. James Robinson in the chat says, "No points for you." Quoting Pionk, probably, which is...
Oh, let's get some soup here.
So, but the D was solid. But keeping McDavid, to 2 shots, had a -2 plus minus on the night. He wasn't given an inch of space, and he didn't have a single shot until partway through the 3rd period. He had 0 shots for the first 44 minutes and something. Like, absolutely phenomenal. Great play by the entire Jets team. And I don't know if you watched the Sportsnet feed of it, which I did during the intermissions, but I switched to the NBCSN feed for the actual commentary because those commentators on the Sportsnet thing were getting under my skin a little bit. But it is what it is. You have fans of a team calling a game where that team's involved. So obviously there's going to be some bias on the game calling. There shouldn't be on a national broadcast, but the nature of human beings won out last night on that front. But that doesn't matter. I forget where I was going with that. I got myself all sidetracked. But McDavid was shut down, and it was just phenomenal. Oh, that was what I was talking about. It was how Kevin Bieksa broke down the way that the Jets were defending was very smart. There were no points where they had all 3 forwards below the puck in the offensive zone. Not one time. Anytime that the puck was anywhere in that offensive zone, there was at least one Jet back even with it or behind, like what we call above it, and it was like his breakdown of that was actually very, very, very accurate, and I really like that. They did. James Robinson in the chat says Jets did a great job not allowing the Oilers to send passes through the slot or across the crease. Exactly. They shut everything down. Anytime that Connor McDavid had the puck in the offensive zone, he was stuck on the boards, stuck in the corner, had to dish it, and it was just it was great to watch. I don't even have words. I'm so excited about how well they played on the defensive side, considering what we saw at the end of that season, which the Jets don't want us to bring up anymore. It's like name dropping. But yeah, this team is a different team, and they were built for this playoff run, I have to say. What did you think about Toninato going in instead of Harkins? That was an interesting call, I feel.
Yeah, very interesting, but you got to trust Paul Maurice. You got to trust the head coach.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny? He actually said it wasn't his decision, really. Like, he made the decision, but he was pretty heavily pressured by some of the other coaching staff that Toninato should be the guy in this game. And, I mean, he listened to them because speaking of complete team efforts, that they are like, Paul Maurice is definitely the head coach, and there's no question about who makes the decisions on that team. But a guy who has a decision made and changes his mind based on the evidence provided to him by his support staff, and you know what I mean? That is the leader you want. And that's one of the reasons I think, when people say, should Pomo be fired or like move on or whatever, no is the answer. I just don't think so.
He's not going anywhere, and he shouldn't be going anywhere. His job shouldn't be in question.
If he does go anywhere, it should be higher up in the Jets organization, to be honest. That's my thoughts on that.
I agree. We're not going to name names here, but yes, higher up in the organization. If there's any issues here, Paul Maurice is not an issue at all.
Yeah. Simon Leung pointing out that the rare time McDavid did get through on those 2 shots, Helle slammed the door shut. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't understand that. Jay Onright called number 2 Colin DeMello.
Colin DeMello. Wow. Jay Onright.
Oh, Jay Onright. He's a goof. I'm sure it was a joke of some sort. I don't get it. You can explain it to me in the chat if you want. I'm a little worried about keeping up the pace we've set, says Kerry Bilkowski. But hey, at least we aren't Washington or Boston. 3 straight OT games. Last night being double OT, by the way. We'll get into all the other games in the league in a bit. But yeah, that was a little rough. Tomato proved he deserved to be in the game 100%. And yeah, Simon Leung pointing out because the Boston-Washington series, what a terrible OT goal. We will get into that. Absolutely. Yes, I agree. That was a terrible OT goal, but it's on my list. It's on my list. Okay. We have an order of things. I swear. We're not just making this. I mean, we're making a lot of it up, but not everything. Jets have not lost a game with Toninato in the lineup. Just saying. True. And wasn't the same true of Vesalainen at one point? Every time he was in the lineup, the Jets won, something like that.
Yes.
So, I mean, those two guys, and I thought Vesalainen played really well, despite the fact that the second line was nearly non-existent. Like they just had, it seemed like no effect on the game, other than Stastny taking that high sticking penalty. I mean, they didn't really have a lot of ice time. I mean, they had a lot of ice time, but they were just invisible out there. It was sort of like the line you put out there between what happens. Well, here give these other guys a break kind of thing. And it was weird. What did you think about this? Because the secondary scoring last night was huge. So Toninato, Thompson, Pullman, Pionk, Stanley, all these guys getting on the scoreboard that are not our leading scorers. Connor and Wheeler got on the scoreboard there, but really, really late. Obviously, like Wheeler's shot that Pullman potted, that was early. So he got his assist early, but Kyle Connor, he didn't get his goal till the empty net. Wheeler didn't score until the empty net. So it was all these secondary scoring guys. So what were your thoughts about that?
Very impressive for other guys that, there's a lot of names here that you probably any Jets fan probably would have expected to see, but that's how playoff hockey works, right? People are going to bring their best games. The players are really going to show up no matter who it is. And, look at Kyle Connor. I mean, that KFC nickname always just shows to stand that, look at him, 1 goal, 1 assist. So he almost looks like he gets the guys going.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. Also going to point out that, Thompson's 2 assists. The guy looked awesome. Lewis out there on the line with him, who's got 2 Stanley Cups under his belt himself with the LA Kings. And it was pretty cool to see those guys doing. Good job of typing.
Yeah, very impressive to see all those guys that you wouldn't really expect, right? So, like I said, everyone's going to bring their A game right now.
Yeah, so Jets' top talent did a good of, which he meant good job of, neutralizing the Oilers' top talent, relying on depth to swing the game in their favor. Yes, 100%. So the physical play, huge, absolutely huge. 68 hits. Scheifele and Connor were the only 2 Jets not to get a single hit or record one. And Stastny had 1 hit. Everyone else on the entire squad had 2 or more, all the way up to Big Stan the Man and his 8 hits. So I think Pionk had 7, Lowry had 7. They were bombing themselves around the ice last night. It was super physical, wide open hockey though. Absolutely. I don't know if you read it, but Neutral Zoner, usually a guest on the show or a friend of the show for sure. He wrote an article that's actually available on the WPG about how to shut down Connor McDavid, how to stop Connor McDavid, how to stop the Oilers. But
how to stop the Oilers? Yeah, it's a good read.
One of the things he said was, this wide open style of hockey was a lot more successful for the Jets than that. The trying to be defensive and try when we get outshot and lose in the faceoff circle, we have a lot of success. And I don't know what the correlation is. All season we've watched that happen, and it's just, yeah, I don't know. It was, I lost my train of thought again. I'm on to the next thought already, and I'm reading the chat, and I'm just so excited. Are you guys not just jazzed right now? And maybe that's not the right word. Maybe are you pumped? Are you psyched?
About where everything's going? Yeah.
I mean, the Jets are in the playoffs. Everyone was worried about how they were going to perform, but then they come out with that end-to-end open sort of skating that we saw early on in the season where the Jets saw all their success. And Paul Maurice built this team that way. Like, it wasn't an accident that they went out there and started playing like that.
No, not at all.
He built this team with that in mind. And I think that we should give a lot of credit to him and to Chevy for building. Yeah, jazz hands. Thanks, James, in the chat. I get it. Maybe jazzed wasn't the right word. Whatever. But we did all that without Ehlers and Doobie in the lineup. Like, imagine when PLD and Ehlers are back.
What's going to happen? Oh my gosh.
I hope they keep playing that exact style, but just throw those two guys in there, which sucks for guys like Vesalainen and Toninato, because Toninado's on borrowed time right now, and he knows that, and he went out there to prove something last night, and he did. And you're going to get your best. You're going to get your best from your players when they know they're going to get limited time to shine, right? When it's
certainly
when they're competing for that spot. And they know it. And I mean, you've said it before, the old adage, you try out every night, right? So every time that Stanley goes out there and has an absolute crazy good game, the fans are just like, yes, this guy. And then he'll sit out the next one because in comes Ben. But we're like, oh, we're mad about that. And I still kind of carry a little bit of like, man, let the guy play. But at the same time, he's making Stanley compete for every single inch. Not only does he not play every game, he played the least amount of minutes last night of all D and still looked like the best player on the defensive side, or as far as I'm concerned, any Jet really. I just thought, I think that really plays a role in the game, is keeping these guys on their toes, making them fight for absolutely every single inch. Every single second of ice time is a battle. And James says Ehlers and Dubois will thrive in that style of playoff hockey. Also, no need to rush them back now. Winning game one gave the Jets some breathing room. I 100% agree. I don't think that they're Paul Maurice is not the kind of guy that's going to put up a potentially dangerous situation together in, one of your future superstars. That, I don't think you put those guys in harm's way, even if you didn't get the breathing room. But now that they have it, you have to think there isn't even a debate about it now. They will be back when they are ready and not a second before. And I think that is the right call. When they are back, I'll know that it's right, because why wouldn't you play them in game one? Right?
Why wouldn't you? Exactly.
If you thought they were even halfway ready to go and you were that kind of a team, or like that was your team's mentality, then yeah, I get it. But the fact that they sat those two guys on game one, that like James Robinson said there, it buys them some breathing room. And there's nothing but upside to winning this game, other than, have they now poked the bear? Are the Oilers now going to come back as a team scorned and just have this this chip on their shoulder, which chances are, I mean, if I lost a playoff game in my own rink, and then obviously you go back there and it's not like Dave Tippett said nothing to them in the dressing room.
No, nothing. Yeah, it's something happened for sure.
There was definitely words exchanged. So, how do you think that the Oilers will respond? That's my next question to you, sir.
This is what I'm kind of worried about too, because the Oilers have always responded against this team, right? Like when we saw the regular season series, like one team probably, dominated the other, and the Oilers responded with coming back with a victory against the Jets after the Jets had dominated them in one of their games. So I'm very interested to see how the Oilers are going to respond to this, and I think they will come out firing here.
Yeah, it's there's just so much potential now that you've seen the way that they can play, and not even that we've seen it, that we've been reminded of it. We saw it early in the season. We saw it. This isn't the first time we've seen that Jet squad show up. It's not. But they really are showing us that team that we remember from the beginning of the season when everybody was absolutely jazzed. Simon Leung says McD will come out flying. I can't disagree with that.
I can't either, because does not want to be having this reputation. Like, who's this guy to shut me down?
Well, imagine scoring 105 goals or points, sorry, in 56 games, and then turning around and getting beat out of a playoff series in 4 straight. You know what I mean? Like, that is not a thing that McDavid will have happen to him. You know.
Not one bit. No, he's going to respond. He's going to want to come back and make a statement here, and not alone just hit the score sheet, but let these Jets know it's like, all right, okay, just one game. You know, we all have bad games here.
And listen, we've been talking a lot about McDavid, but the other guy who was absolutely frustrated last night was Leon Draisaitl. He couldn't get an inch of space. I mean, he had 3 shots, I think, 3 shots on goal, which is better than Connor McDavid's 2 shots on goal, but he was frustrated too. Like, you could really, like, you just saw it in their game. The Jets didn't have a response for what was happening, and it was, I don't know. The way that the Jets played defense last night was phenomenal. Jets will get burnt by the Oilers if they slump in the second period again, says James Robinson. Yes, that second period was, what's the right word? Because it wasn't terrible, but when you're playing a team like the Oilers and you give them half a second to think, they will outthink you. There's like Connor McDavid, when he is moving with the puck, and I was talking to you on the phone yesterday, Keith, about how, like, when Connor McDavid takes a step, he doesn't think what he's going to do. He just does it, right? He doesn't know what he's doing until he's in the middle of doing it. He's just so creative, so quick, and he can do all that at full speed, which not a lot of players can do. Nikolai Ehlers is working on that. He is crazy speed, but he can't. He knows what he wants to have happen, and so he'll go and he'll try it, right? Whereas Connor McDavid is moving and deciding on the fly what he's doing. That's the difference, you know? And Nikolai Ehlers is getting there. Like, he's watching these guys like Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon and figuring out, like, okay, that's where I want to get. So he's getting there, but I mean, Connor McDavid is just on another level where his decision making happens. He's the fastest guy on the ice basically anytime he's on the ice, and he makes those decisions at that speed. It's insane. So, and
he's not threatened by anybody.
No. He's yeah. I would love to see Ehlers back in this game, because the big storyline here is McDavid versus Scheifele. Can Scheifele outpoint the Connor McDavid, sorry, which is really what it's going to come down to. I actually stole a clip, and I don't know where I put it. There was a guy, the NHL put out a tweet, I think, with, you know, the hot takes, and one guy said Mark Scheifele will have more points at the end of the series than Connor McDavid, and I thought, that's a bold prediction. Like, that's bold. And last night, how many points did Scheifele get? How many points did McDavid get?
0.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a bold prediction as it was. It's, I mean, only one game deep so far, but I mean, I'm very shocked that actually played out. So, what was it here? Oh yeah, I got it here. But I don't want to try and mess with the stream while we're going. So I will point out, however, you can follow us on all the social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. On all of those, like us or follow us, whichever that platform prefers as their term. But on YouTube and Twitch, especially if you have those accounts, follow us, like and subscribe. For YouTube, you know, they say smash that like button, but ring that bell. You get those notifications when we're live. You know when we have new content go up. It isn't just sports on that channel, but there is the LZ Sports Show. That's our home. So,
and you know, it only costs $0 for you to hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
So please.
And again, it means almost nothing to you, but it means a lot to us. So we really appreciate that if you would help us out there. And you can also call or text the WPG Sports line, 431-800-4555. You can reach us by email, thelz@thewpg.ca. And I'll just, if you are looking to to advertise on the show or on the WPG.ca itself, you can call 431-489-2401 or email ads@thewpg.ca. So all of that out of the way, let's get back to the business as it is. Shuffles has always been a reliable point producer, and I'm assuming that's Scheif. Is that what we're doing? Is that Bambi's other nickname I haven't heard yet? Excellent. I like it. Play more like a shooter, though. Yeah, he's got to shoot more. And there was also a point last night. There was a 2-on-1, and Kyle Connor he had the shot. He needed to take it, and he decided not to. He ended up trying to make the pass and forcing a pass when he should have just shot the puck. And I was concerned that might be a byproduct of his lack of confidence that we saw through that big slump where he had no goals, no points, and basically no shots. So I was hoping that wasn't the case. But yes, I think that is a thing that we need to see as well. And I mean, Pullman shooting a lot was a big thing last night. I really like to see that. Pullman actually bombing some from the point. You know, that's something we need. We've talked about it on the show before, how the Jets don't really have a Bufflin. We don't really have
a
Shea Weber. We don't have a PK Subban. These guys that rocket shots from the point. And Pullman getting some shots through. Stanley putting some shots through. One turns into a goal there with Toninado's tip. I really want to see. What's that? KFC not shooting on that 2-on-1 is a direct result of fans not telling him when to shoot. Yeah, okay. So you're saying no fans in the stands is why that happened, eh? That's a comment from James Robinson in the chat. Yeah, fair. Do I agree with that? I don't know. Let us know. Do you agree with that? Let us know. If you're not watching live, you can comment below the YouTube video. You can comment on the Facebook feed. You can comment on the Twitch feed, or the Twitch video. Wherever you want to drop your comments. Again, you can email, text us, all of that. Do it. Yeah, James Robinson says, shoot! Yeah. This is how the playoffs are shaping up right now. These are all the matchups. Toronto-Montreal, the only series not yet underway. That happens tonight for the first time. So Edmonton down 1 to Winnipeg. The Pittsburgh Penguins are tied with the Islanders. Boston last night getting that double overtime winner. And as discussed earlier, not a good way to give up that goal.
Not at all.
I forget who said it. Was that Simon Leung that said that? I think it was Simon. I want to give credit to the right person, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Simon that said, that wasn't a great goal to give up. An absolute goof. You're in double overtime. Your goaltender's behind the net. Why? Anyway. And that cost them the game. Now Boston's up 2-1. Carolina absolutely dominating Nashville last night. They did score an empty netter, but it was a 3-0 game. The second goal was an empty netter, and seconds later they scored again, but not empty net. Like just swarming the Nashville goal. Tampa Bay up 2-0 on Florida so far, 2-0. Vegas and Minnesota splitting games, and obviously Colorado is going to destroy St. Louis, as I predicted. I predicted that was the game. Remember we talked about like who we think is going to be a big blowout? Colorado St. Louis was the one I picked as like there's no way St. Louis wins a game. Now I say that, but now they're headed back to St. Louis, so things could change. I don't know, but I really think that was rough. The way St. Louis, and Nathan McKinnon gets a hat trick. I think that was his first playoff hat trick ever. So, please win in Florida. My pool depends on it, says James Robinson. I don't think that they listen to
I was picking Florida all the way because of Joel Quenneville, and I don't know right now. I'm kind of worried about them.
Well, I figured that series would be pretty close, but I didn't expect Tampa Bay to be up 2-0. Both games being in Florida, that's not good for them.
Not good at all.
No, not at all. Not at
They
all.
need to get Brady Keeper back in there.
Yeah.
He's from Manitoba, Cross Lakes finest.
And I do have this graphic here on the screen. It's just the actual bracket without any of the game results and all that. I just want to show you, for those that are listening to the audio podcast, I apologize for the next 30 seconds. So you see there, it's and you can go to the WPG.ca and this will be, I'll have this image up when I post this video episode up on the WPG.ca. So you can actually go see that there. But yeah, so you got all the white boxes is the first round there. The blue boxes represent when the reshuffle happens. So those don't actually follow the bracket necessarily. Right? So it isn't, if Toronto beats Montreal and then Winnipeg beats Edmonton, it isn't, whoever beats Toronto and whoever beats Winnipeg in that slot necessarily. They may end up playing whoever comes out of that Colorado series. Do you know what I mean? So that's the blue. The blue represents where that reshuffle happens because it goes back to your final position in the league, and they reseed that way. Right now, it's all seeded based on your division, but then it'll reseed based on the league after the second round. So it isn't a straight bracket like we're used to seeing. Although our team will be in that spot, but I'll have to move around who plays who depending on how that sort of pans out. And then the black spots, obviously, that's for the finals. I tried to color code how that broke down, and it's my ugly little playoff bracket. What do you think, guys? What do you think? It's pretty ugly.
I don't think it's ugly. I think it's amazing. Thank you so much for doing that. It's a nice surprise for the show because you didn't tell me you did this when we were talking off air. So it looks great.
Fair. Okay, so the playoff situation looking pretty rough out there right now. But can we just take a second to pause and talk about something else that happened? Did you guys read or see the photos of Mark Scheifele holding his goats?
No, I did not.
He's out on the ice. He took his goats. He's got these two goats that he named Tom Brady and Tiger Woods.
Wow.
Because they're the goats, apparently.
They're the goats. And apparently on Wikipedia, Mark Scheifele does follow the Tom Brady diet. So
well, and that's all fine and dandy. I don't like calling Tom Brady the GOAT. I just refuse. I just don't think he is. And we can have that's a debate for another day. And I know I'm arguing from a position of weakness on that. I get it. Hard to argue with 7 rings, but I will. So that's, if you want to have that conversation, call or text. I'll put that number back up on the screen real quick. Call or text the WPG Sports line. I will have that conversation with you. 431-800-4555. Text, actually, because if you call, it just goes to voicemail, so you can leave your voicemail, your thoughts for us. But if you text it, I will have that conversation with you. 431-800-4555. I don't think Tom Brady's the GOAT.
Pick up the phone.
I said it. I stick by it. But yeah,
that's your story, and you're sticking to it.
I am. I don't care. I'll argue till I'm blue in the face. I refuse. There's just, I have actual reasons for it. It's not like I just hate Tom Brady, although he's a kind of a dick, but I actually have arguments for it. So if you want to have that conversation, hit me up. James Robinson says, reseeding is fun. Wonder if it'll stick around. Gives real incentive to win games in the regular season. Missed a real opportunity with Wayne Goatsky. Oh, that's a good one too. That's a good
Wayne
one.
Goatsky. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so these goats, he brought them to practice, and he said, "Oh yeah, the trainers weren't real happy. They were kind of pooping everywhere." And you just have to know he said pooping. He didn't say shitting. He didn't say crapping. He's a good Christian boy that does not swear, and he's out there going, "I'm so sorry that my goats pooped on your ice. I apologize." I just imagine him just being so soft spoken about that. He apparently has goats. That's a thing now that he has. He says they're great companions. When they come home, they baa, which kind of sounds like they're saying dad, which I have a dog and I've had cats and stuff. I never called my cats my children. I've just never been one of those people. I get uncomfortable when people are like, "Oh, come hang out with dad," or worse yet, "Come hang out with daddy." It's like it's a dog. You did not seed that life. You did not. It irks me. It irks me. Oh, that'd be a great idea. James Robinson says instead of fans, True North Center will usher in 16,000 goats. That's a great. Just fill the stands with goats. The staff will hate. They'll be chewing on the seats.
Or at least watch now that they put those cardboard cutouts of goats now in the stands instead of like sponsors to cover up the seats.
And then Scheifele's actual 2 goats will go around just eating all the cardboard and shitting everywhere. It'll be rough. It'll be rough. Pardon the language today, by the way. I should probably preface all that. We don't normally swear on this show.
We'll go back to PG here.
Sorry about that. We don't normally curse and swear on this show. We are coming out with a show soon where that will be allowed. But that we can't do that right now. This show happens too often. When the playoffs are over, this show, the LZ Sports Show, will be moving to a once a week sort of format. Probably a little longer to encompass all of the sports that we're going to have to cover, because we're going to be encompassing the Valor FC and the Bombers, if that ever gets to be a thing again, depending on how that whole thing with the XFL works out. So, yeah, we'll be here. But, I just wanted to I couldn't go this whole show and not bring up the goats. I just couldn't. I don't have it in me not to bring up Scheifele bringing 2 goats to practice. And letting them crap all over the place. So funny. I don't know why I think that's hilarious. I just do. But as a capper here, the Jets played a playoff style game, which is really how we've wanted them to play all year. And that's kind of the season we've had. You see the same teams over and over and over again. You're getting those sort of playoff rivalries going throughout the regular season. I really like this divisional format. It would be nice to have, one or, a few games outside the division throughout the course of the year to sort of see what the competition is like. Because especially with television rights in Canada versus the US, it's tough to see any of those games down in the States during the season. So I get it. But Bombers are still defending champs. That's true. The longer we don't have a season, the more years we get to claim it. So it's by default, because you got to beat the champ to be the champ. So really, they can claim that they're the champs again. So nobody took it from us, so we're the champs again.
Yeah, they are. The city was on fire.
But back to the Jets. This is a Jets playoff edition version of the show. So we'll finish off with, this team is a playoff team. They were built for the playoffs. The depth that we have, the physical, like the willingness of all our players to play so physical is amazing. I'm very excited and to see what happens in the next game. Kerry Bilkowski's comment earlier mentioned that he doesn't know if we can keep up that pace, but I think given the outcome and the fact that it was settled in regulation, I think this is a sustainable pace. Only trying to they weren't trying to force anything. They were just going at the Edmonton Oilers. 22 shots is not. They're not trying to outdo themselves. Pardon me, I got the hiccups there for a second. But they're not trying to outdo themselves. So I really think that Paul Maurice, Cheveldayoff, they built this team for exactly now. And the question was, will it be sustainable throughout the course of the season? And it looks sketchy there. There was an opportunity at one point for the Jets to take over first in the division from the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then there was that huge slump, which started making people question, will we even make the playoffs at all? And then once it was decided we were going to make the playoffs, and it was pretty predetermined, we were going to play the Oilers. It was all about getting ready for the Oilers. The Jets did their job. Now we throw it to you, Edmonton. What do you got? What do
Yeah,
you got?
let's go. Game 2 tomorrow night, right?
Yep, absolutely. And let us know in the chat or comment below the video if you're watching after the live feed, because we're about to leave. Let us know what you think. Give us some trash talk about Edmonton, because Edmonton to me seems like, Winnipeg. There's a lot of cliches about Winnipeg that you can make fun of. I can't think of anything in Edmonton really other than nice mall. Well done. Is there anything else interesting about Winnipeg that's worth making fun of? I would like to know. Let us know. You can, again, hit us up on all our social medias. The WPG Magazine is on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. You can also support the stream by donating to streamlabs.com/the WPG Magazine, which, by the way, if you do that, half of everything you give to us, we are going to donate to a local charity. And so don't feel like you can't support us. We will absolutely take half of that, because it costs money to do all this stuff that we're doing. Don't feel obligated. This is a free thing. We're doing it because we love it. But your support would mean a ton. So if you go to streamlabs.com/the WPG Magazine, you can support us there, and we would greatly appreciate that. And again, half of everything you give to us there goes to a local charity. So the other thing you can do, text us 431-800-4555 or email the LZ at thewpg.ca. I would love to hear from you about, first of all, what is interesting about Edmonton we can make fun of? Because everything, it's so boring. Every time I can't find anything worth making fun of. It's just not worth the energy. Maybe that's what we make fun of. It's just how boring the place is. Nice mall, go away. But I would like to have some ammunition in the tank if, some guy comes at us making fun of us, because, they will. Winnipeg has a lot of things worth making fun of. I get it. I live here. I know. And if you're from here, you're a Winnipegger, you get it. There's lots to make fun of here. I get it. But give me some fuel to fight that fire. All that said, thank you for everybody joining us in the chat over here. Noilers, says James Robinson. McDavid will be the captain of the West Ed Mall submarine fleet after the Jets are done with the Oilers. Oh, nice. The West Edmonton Mall, I think it has like 3 fully operational submarines for the children to ride in. And the Canadian military only has 2 fully functioning submarines for the children to ride in. So,
talk about national defense.
yeah. So we're safe if some crazy Navy ever attacks Canada. Edmonton's got us, I guess. But whatever, it is what it is. We will see you next time. For myself and my co-host here, Mr. Keith McKnight, I am Mark Adam. We will see you next time in the LZ.